Hey everybody, it's Missy with another episode of Using Older Supplies. And for this layout, I decided to use some of the Lemon Lush collection from Studio Calico. And this is a couple years old. I still have a lot of this left. I remember when I got this, I was really in love with all the bright colors, and I still am. And I love that it's so random. All the patterns are different. There's florals, there's dots, there's stripes, there's watercolor effect, there's everything. And so I decided to just kind of start from scratch. I wanted to use a lot of those colors, and so I got the idea to use a bunch of strips. And so I took a piece of cardstock here. On the other side of it, I was playing around with some paints, so it was just kind of a mess up page. And I thought, I'm gonna make a big heart and cover it with a lot of strips from this paper pad. And so this is something you could do if you don't have a silhouette or a Cricut. Just do like you did in elementary school and fold the paper in half and cut out a big heart. I remember doing that with snowflakes back in school. So there you have a heart. I put that piece of cardboard behind it just so it would stand out and I could actually see it against my white background. And I'm going to scrap that black and white picture of my daughter. She's in the middle of laughing and being silly, and just thought it was a really cute everyday moment picture. So I'm just going through. You can see I've already used several of these papers with a punch before. I've just saved all the scraps because I thought, I'll use this someday. You know how the hoarding goes, where you are afraid to throw anything away because you will probably use it someday, right? So today's the day, I guess you could say. So anyway, I'm just going through the papers that I really like. I'm going to cut up strips and kind of place them on top of this heart, and just random, I want some of the purple spread out. I want some of the orange spread out, green, yellow, the black and white text. And I haven't stuck anything down yet. I'm just kind of playing around. So I kept going, continuing to add. Then I decided I wanted to add some ribbon and washi tape. And so I went back to my ribbon stash. This was really fun creating with random things here. I've got some yellow with white dots. I've got some, I cut it in half because it was a thicker ribbon. So I can use some at the top, some at the bottom. This is some really pretty turquoise ribbon. I've got some lime green going in there. And now I'm going to start to glue everything down. And I'm going to trim this up later once the heart is finished. And I don't want this to look perfect. I don't want the strips to be all the same width, and I definitely want it to be spread out as far as colors go. I'm also going to use some of my Rick Rack. I really had a good time making that layout in my last supplies video where I used ribbon and some Rick Rack, and so I went through a drawer that I forgot I had, and lo and behold, there was more Rick Rack. Surprise, surprise. So it's going to be used on this page. So I decided, since I was going into my stash of ribbon, I might as well bust into the washi tape. And so I pulled a couple rolls. I pulled that pink with the white dots. And then I'm also going to pull out some black and white here in a minute. And I think also a little bit of gray. And the fun thing about, and I'm sure you already know this, but the fun thing about scrapbooking with black and white pictures is you are not limited to a certain color scheme. If you're like me and you kind of like to match your papers to your photo, putting it in black and white takes that out of the equation. You can use whatever colors you want and it's always going to match. So there you go. I've got more Rick Rack. I added some white, added some more washi tape. I got all the strips done. I absolutely love how that looks. There's the messy back. I was playing around with some shimmers. And so I'm just going to trim off all these edges and make this heart nice and crisp. So there you go. I think that's so pretty. I love all those colors. Very fun. So now I'm going to even it up so I can decide where it's going to be right in the middle of the page. And that's the background paper. It's not white. I know it's very bright, but it is a light blue and white striped different directions of stripes of a patterned paper, and that's from the Lemon Lush paper pad there. So I traced around where the heart's going to go so I know exactly where it is, and then I'm going to use some white gesso and just smudge it around with my finger because I am going to do a little bit of watercoloring. And with this being a thin piece of pattern paper, when you get those papers from the paper pad they're not very thick, and so I definitely needed gesso because I did not want that paper to rip. And I don't do a whole lot of watercolor here. These are all shimmers, and I'm just doing a little bit of coloring coming out from underneath both sides of the heart. I've got Jenny B Blue going on the right, and then I've got the No Yoking yellow color on the left. I'm going to add in some green splatters. That is Don't Citron Me. And I just want a little bit of messy color going around. This is a, what color is that? Oh, nope, it's right here. That is Caribbean Sunset, and it's kind of an orangey, salmony, peachy color, I guess you could say. Very, very pretty. That up the top is a Colorings Pink Stilettos. I just kind of want it to be a little messy here and there, and I'm going to wind up adding lots of things on top of this heart, and so the background's not going to be a huge distraction. I didn't want to do too much back there because the heart is very busy in itself. So I just wanted some subtle watercolor in the background. I am going to add a little bit of gesso on top of the heart just for a little bit of fading. I do want to do a little bit of watercolor on top of the heart, kind of where my picture is going to go, but not a lot because, like I said before, it's pretty busy. And the star of this layout is going to be this heart. And, well, of course, and the picture. But I don't want to do too much in the background to take away from it. So I'm just going to do a little bit of packaging technique right here on top of the heart, mainly just to add a little bit of shading and a little bit of messiness, I guess you could say. I'm just going to use the blue and the yellow mainly. And in the end, it's not going to be that noticeable, I guess you could say. And I'm going to put my picture right there in the lower left. No, that's not left. That's right. Hello. The lower right-hand corner because she's looking towards the left. And I always like to put my pictures where they're facing across the page. That is some tissue paper from my stash. I think I've got every color somewhere on my shelf, and since I'm using random supplies, I thought I would use that. And that's a little piece of green paper from Lemon Lush behind the picture there. Okay, what did I do? I did some stitching. I took a little break, came back, and decided to go ahead and do my machine stitching. I did some white and some pink straight stitching, zigzag stitching, just to give it a little bit of texture and interest. I kind of wish I would have stitched around the heart, but I just didn't for whatever reason. And when the layout is finished, I kind of wished I would have, but it still looks cute, I think. Added a piece of random pink polka dotted cardstock behind the photo in layers. I don't even remember the name brand of it. It's just in my stack. I have a separate shelf stack thing over there in the corner that's just got all those random papers that I bought when I first started scrapbooking, when I didn't even know what a collection was. It was just random papers. They're all over there, and that pink cardstock came from that. Okay, so here's all my random embellishments here. This is from the Dear Lizzie documentary collection, and I wanted to use that little hello speech bubble because it's the perfect purpley pink color. I just cut off the point, and I'm going to use it as part of my title. I had not used these white Calbar-Teskey thickers yet, and so I thought this would be a good opportunity. However, when I placed that white thicker right there, it kind of got drowned out by that white rickrack, and so to solve that problem, I'm just dipping my brush into some of the blue shimmers and just coloring it blue, and that way the darling stands out more. And that's something easy you could do with your shimmers, is use it to paint ribbon. Who'da thunk it, right? Okay, I'm going fast here, so let's see if I can remember what I'm doing here. Those are some flowers that I did for a Shimmer Shorts video a couple videos ago, where I was trying to recreate the Bella Boulevard She Blooms flowers. and I just stuck them on my desk, and they're going to get used. I'm going to use those as embellishments here. These are some My Mind's Eye rub-ons from the, what's it called? My Story collection. It's gold. I'm also going to use that blue glittery bow. I can't remember. I got that in a hip kit. I can't remember. I think it may be Heidi Swap. I'm not 100% sure. These black and white stickers also came in a hip kit. I just kind of went to my shelf and pulled out some things. It's definitely random. And that's what I like about these videos, is I can just use whatever. Doesn't matter how old, how new. That is from the, oh my goodness, you guys, I can't remember the name. It was Crate Paper. It was one of their lovey-dovey collections. Hello Love, I think it was called. That's that chipboard arrow that I'm going to use. I added some green thread behind the hello bubble. And that little banner piece down there at the bottom is also from that Dear Lizzie sticker sheet. My flowers need some leaves, and so I just used one of my very old Martha Stewart leaf punches. I'm going to stick them right there underneath those little flowers. Yeah, so I kind of really enjoy just grabbing things off my shelf and seeing what may match and what would work here and there. There's the Hello Love sticker sheet. I'm going to use those little black and white hearts. And then I kind of got to a point where I was stuck, so I went ahead and did my journaling. And that's the perfect spot for it, since I've already got a little cluster going over there right underneath the photo. I decided that the journaling would probably go well there. And I'm just talking about how there's never a dull moment with Paige around and her silly antics and shenanigans. And every time I try to take a picture, she makes a cuckoo face and starts laughing. And she gets right up to the camera. So these are the kind of pictures I get of her. And they're just funny because that's just her. That is just her. So these are some very old Crate Paper rub-ons. I think these might have been from Notes and Things, one of those collections from a few years ago, and they actually still rubbed on really nicely. I've got them all hacked up because I cut them out before I rub them on, and so yeah, I just can't bear to part with them because they still work and they're still cute. That one was from a Valentine's Day collection. Gosh, I don't even remember. These are Tim Holtz. I got those at Michael's. As you can see, I've already used a lot of them. I just kind of cut them out and rub them on there. And I'm just kind of doing random little sayings here and there. And I like the pops of black that this gives throughout the layout. Echoes the picture. These are some Prima Brads. I don't even remember buying those, but apparently I did because there they are. And this is a cute little brad that just says love. These are some random Michael's clear puffy stickers of little cameras. I'm just going to use that little one that says smile. The cameras were cute, but they were just too big for this. This is a random sticker sheet from Simple Stories with everything with white clear stickers. And it's hard to see from here, but they do show up really well on top of all this colored paper. So I'm going to use a couple of those. And I have several of these little booklets of clear stickers from Me and My Big Ideas. I wanted to use so many from this collection, but there just wasn't any room left. And this is from the Dear Lizzie sticker sheet from a few collections ago. And so all the embellishing I'm doing here is just, small things. I did add a couple little small things like some more thread and a flare button over on the right. But that's the final layout. I had so much fun making this. It was super fun to dig into an old collection and then mix and match the ribbon, the washi tape, the stickers, those hand-painted flowers, just all kinds of random things. It was really fun. I highly recommend you do this if you don't dig into your stash often, because you'll never know what you're going to find in there. And it's fun to use old stuff and make it new again, because all it takes is a little couple of ideas, and there you go. You have something fun and new. So let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.